All right, so we're walking through our feet. Take your time with that and really try to feel the articulation of all the joints in the feet. And if I stand over here, the light will be better. And you've got a hand on a chair or something like that if necessary. We're feeling an easy transfer of weight between the feet. So among the other things that we're trying to do is get a sense of our weight into the ground. Do one more to each side. And then go ahead and put both feet flat on the floor. Bend into the knees, and you can put your hands to your thighs or keep them on whatever support you have. And just round the spine forward like a cat. I'll give you this side view. So we have our rounding. Inhale here and feel the breath moving into the back. And there's usually some tight spots or some sore spots. And then exhale, go the other way. So into neutral for sure, and maybe past it into some extension. Inhale, return to neutral. And exhale, stretch your legs. We walk again. So second round of walking. Rise up, and then walk. Side view here. Short tail sticking out. Walking, walking, walking. Just a couple more to each side. When you're even across the sides, this time I'd like you to step 1 foot back and we'll lunge. Now try to have a parallel position through the lunge. And try to continue the line of the leg, the back leg, pardon me, through the line of the torso. Yeah, so feel the relationship of the angle of your spine with the stretch of the back leg. Then bend the back knee a little bit and use the muscles in the low belly that we used for cat stretch to roll yourself up as you bring your hips underneath you. Once you've got your spine vertical, then go ahead and re-stretch the back leg. Feel a little bit more work in the back of the hip and the back of the thigh. Bring your arm up the same side as the back leg and bend in the opposite direction. Get a stretch through the side of the waist and the front of the hip. Breathe in and then roll it down. Breathe out and step your back foot forward. Go ahead and cross the front leg, the old front leg, over and have a little stretch here where you're leaning forward over the legs. And you've got a nice tight squeeze between the inner thighs and a stretch across the base of the hips. Come on up. And the leg that you had just crossed over top, step back. In any case, do the other lunge, right? So if I'm doing my other lunge and I'm going to show you my open leg with the open side, I'll face the opposite direction. It's all parallel or as close as you can get. The line of the torso continues the line of the back leg. And then soften the back leg a little bit. Use your ab muscles to pull the bottom of the pelvis forward underneath you. And then to support as you lengthen upward. Once you're there, re-stretch the back leg. And then bring the outside arm up. And bend. Roll it forward. And step forward. And now you cross the other leg over top and have your legs together stretch. Feel free to move around through the neck and the shoulders. And then go ahead and roll up. So at this point, you want to grab your ball or your block or whatever you're using between your inner thighs. I'm going to use a ball. And then maybe a hand lightly on support. And you don't have to have one hand if you prefer to face wherever you're using as your bar. You can have both hands lightly on it. We'll go ahead and bend into the knees. I'd like you to inhale and bend into the knees. And then stay here for a moment and just exhale. So we're going to hold this lightly bent knee position so that we're not locked into the hips. We still feel like the spine is hanging in a neutral line, vertical in space. So we haven't taken it so deeply that we need to start tilting or hinging. All right, we just got this feeling of weight dropping down into the feet. We're going to exhale and squeeze the ball and lower our weight a little bit more toward the ground. It's very subtle. Inhale, come up just a little bit. Feet firmly into the ground. Exhale, let your weight drop into the feet, into the floor beneath. And inhale up a little bit. Do that, I don't know, half dozen times. So 4 more, let's say. As we do the last 3, ideally, we're getting a sense of toning or firming in the low ab area, this time in neutral rather than in a rounded back. We're trying to relax across the broad back of the pelvis. So across the sacrum area, 1 more. Stay at the bottom, inhale in place, and then exhale with that support, lift pelvic floor to the inside, breath travels up through the crown, you fully stretch. And you get that connection behind both hips and both back of thighs. Inhale, bend, go to that low point. This time we go a little lower, allowing the torso to hinge forward, heels still on the ground, and then exhale, stretch fully up into vertical. Please do 4 more. So allow that little hinge, but maintain neutral spine. The spine rising through vertical. 3 more times, please. You don't need the bar. There's no need to have your hand on anything, really. You can have the arms by the sides. Oh, and someone joined us. Hi there.
I had other meeting numbers in there and it kept trying to send me to them.
Straighten your legs last time. And stand fully upright. Now we'll do our pulses with the breath and with the inner thighs, but in a straight leg extended hip position. So again, neutral spine, feet grounded. Start with that sense of feet into the ground. And on your exhale, begin to squeeze the inner thighs against whatever you're holding between them, lifting the kegel upward and releasing the spine into length. Inhale downward. From the feet, exhale, the inner thighs become activated, pelvic floor lifts, the spine lengthens, and you feel a lengthening also through the outer hips and the lower back, all without tucking the pelvis. 1 more, exhale. Hold the tone you build on the exhale, and on the inhale, push the ground down with the balls of your feet and lift your heels up, reaching long through the knees still. Inhale, or exhale rather, and lower the heels. And inhale, rise up again. Exhale, lower. And as you go up and down, you're trying to maintain that verticality through the whole body, through the hips, through the torso. As the heels shift up and forward, you glide up and forward. We're halfway done. Please do 4 more. Good, you guys. So sometimes my counting is off. Let's do 1 more. Come to the top and stay. Good. Now we're going to keep the heels lifted and do tiny, tiny knee bends. So almost like the first style that we did, not going to the depth of your plie, but just a little release through the hips and the knees. Heels stay high, squeeze the ball, Kegel, exhale, stretch your legs. Connect from the toes and the medial arches up through inner thighs and core. Inhale, bend the knees a smidge. From the toes, feel inner thighs, sense pelvic floor, and exhale, breath rises. We know that the breath is really one of our better vehicles for engaging the core muscles internally. 3 more, please. And again, the spine is just moving vertically rather than tilting forward. 1 more. Now listen, inhale, lower your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Feel that you go to the bottom of where you can go without lifting the heels, and the body will adjust its angle forward. Then, on your inhale, begin to lift your heels here. On your exhale, stretch the legs. Feel the spine rising vertically. Inhale down. Exhale, bend into the knees. Allow the adjustment at the hips. Inhale, lift your heels. And then exhale, stretch your legs. Inhale down. Please continue through 3 more of these, bending your knees on your exhale. Continue to track the knees toward the center line of the feet as you lift the heels, and then with a connection from ground into core, draw all the way up and lower down. Please continue through the last couple of repetitions. And when you've done the last one, exhaling, inhaling, exhale, and inhale. Good. Just bend into the knees again. And with the ball between the knees, we repeat the cat stretch that we did at the very beginning of class. So we're here, we've got our forward angle, exhale, round, and feel the tail not only scooping under, but stretching down away from the bottom of the ribs. Take the middle back into as deep a curve as you can, and then continue through the top of the head. Inhale. Exhale. Now, instead of arching the low back, think of lengthening the low belly. And then lengthening through the waist and the ribs. When you've got your neutral, inhale, and now exhale, open. We find our extension, upper back, middle back, maybe low back if low back is healthy and tolerates this. And release. Straighten your legs. Exhale in place, engaging inner thighs. And then once more, we lift the heels on inhale. Exhale, bend into the knees. Inhale, lower heels down. And exhale, stretch into the legs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend into the knees. Inhale, lower heels down. And exhale, stretch the legs. Continue this 3 more times, rising on inhale, continuing 1 breath per movement, exhaling here. Inhale. Exhale, last 2. And last 1. Now, from the top, we're going to stop at that halfway point. We've got our heels lifted. We've got our spine vertical. And we've got the knees, because of the ball or whatever we're holding, tracking forward to the midline of the feet. I'd like you to exhale and squeeze a little bit more firmly through the inner thighs from the toes up. So connect ground into inner thighs, and then exhale again, squeeze again, feel inner thighs engaging with pelvic floor in that upward direction of breath and support. The next time you exhale like this, bend the knees just a little bit, dropping your weight down to floor. Inhale, come up a smidge, and exhale, pulse down. Up a little and down. Now this will make your thighs burn. That's okay. It should not make your knees ache though. So relax over the surface of the knee and engage in the thick part of the muscles in your thighs. Keep your calves and your feet. One more pulse down. Then inhale, lower the heels. And exhale, stretch the legs. Put the ball off to the side for a moment. We'll stay there. Pull back from your bar. Have a wide stance through the legs. And bend deeply into the knees. Shift a little to one side. And then a little to the other. Do that again if it feels good. Feel a little stretch building down that other side. And then second side. And roll up. Stand on the leg of your choice and just do a little quad stretch through one. You're going to support behind the leg with your hand. And we're going to make little circles through the foot. Go the other direction as well. And then as you support the weight of the leg with the arm, use glutes and hamstrings to gently draw the thigh bone back. As that happens, keep your low abs lifting up and feel the hip flexor in front opening along with the stretch of the quads. Now as you hold here, you might engage your hamstrings a little more and squeeze your calf to your thigh, but don't use your arm to do that, right? Arm is supporting the weight of the leg. The hamstrings are squeezing calf to thigh. One more. Release that. Kick the heel forward, the same one you were just holding, and hinge forward over the leg. Stretch behind the thigh very gently. Right, so don't press into the knee. You can support with your hand on the thigh. You can round if you like. And then we come up and do the other side. So I'm just going to switch my directions. So shake that leg out. And when you're ready, you stand on the new leg. Do your quad stretch through the other side. As you do just the kind of opening orientation here through your stance and through the muscles, circle your ankle. Begin to let the front of the thigh muscles soften the knee as well. And then circle the other way. And then supporting with the arm, engage the back of the hip and the thigh, specifically the glutes, to help pull the femur behind or toward the back. Keep tone in the abs. That helps hold your balance and prevents a dipping or an extension of the low back. And then when you've got the stretch, you want to hold through the quads and through the front of the hip. If you want to add a little bit more through the quads, you can use your hamstrings behind the leg to squeeze the calf to the thigh. And then release. Squeezing in. And release. And then gently release that leg. Kick it forward. And when you're ready, roll up. Okay. So go ahead and place the ball between your inner thighs. Yoga block works too. I'm going to place it a little higher so I can really feel the muscly part of the inner thighs activating against the surface of the ball. And we're going to do little pulls back through the elbows. So just starting to warm at the shoulders more specifically. Reach the arms in front. You guys will look like zombies. And we're just going to pull right elbow back And twist from the waist as the elbow passes the side of the body. Arm stretches forward. Continue right side. So same side we started on. Twisting in that same direction. And releasing forward. Do 3 more. And with the hips and the legs facing forward throughout. One more. Or whenever you're finished with 5. And we start with the other side. So we've got our hips underneath us, we've got everything squared off, we exhale and pull back. Inhale, return to front facing, pulling back. Total of 5 times. Using the connection into ground to lend strength and support to the stability of your pelvis, of your center, and the length of your spine. Then you've done your 5. Bring arms forward and turn palms up. We're going to open and close. Inhale and exhale. Feeling as you open that the collarbones widen, but you're not shifting the ribs. You're just getting a squeeze together through the shoulder blades. So this is what I don't want you to do. Don't move the arms back by sliding the ribs in front. Right, no, keep your ribs overlined. And we're truly stretching the front of the shoulder joint. Do 1 more of these. And then we're going to turn the palms forward and thumbs down. Thumbs rotating upward and palms upward. And keep going with this shoulder rotation. Let your breath be at a natural pace. So there's no specific breath per positioning of the arms, right? We're just continuing to breathe. And we do 3 more of these, guys. 1 more. Bring the arms in front and lower your hands down. So at this point, go ahead and grab some weights. I'm gonna put my ball off to the side. If you like to use them, and of course you can continue to do all of this stuff without weights, if that's better for you. Okay. So we're gonna make this sort of weird angle with the arms. Right. Now, as we do this, we're exhaling, we're sticking the elbows out, but we're trying very hard not to press the shoulders forward and move the elbows behind. Does that make sense? So rather than that, you try and lift up as far as you lift, elbows going out to the side, and that's about it for me without cheating the shoulder. Supporting the connection of ground into pelvis, of course. Continue that connection upward into the length of your rib cage. So exhale, lifting through the bottom of the ribs, and the connection chasing it upward under the base of the heart, under the jawline. 2 more. This will become important later. We're going to use it in our workout. And then release. Turn the inside of the palms and elbows forward. 1 more thing here. Go ahead and exhale, re-engage the feet with the ground, re-squeeze the ball, re-firm the back of the hips and the lower abs. And then as you kegel, bend your elbows, biceps curl. Inhale, release. And exhale. I can hear birds in the background. It's springtime somewhere. Keep your focus, guys. Three more. Keep also the openness of the front of the shoulders, the lift of the chest, so the center of your sternum isn't pressing down toward the abs. When you've done your last one, let that go. Oh, go ahead and put the weights down. Okay. Remove the ball. And we'll return again to the work through the legs. So we're not done with arms, but we're going to work through the legs a little bit. I hope you can see my feet. Yes. So we have a little space. We have the big toes lined up with the true hip joints, right, which are right here on either side of the bottom of the pelvis. We're going to lift up just like we did with the ball in our initial work. And we're going to pull the heels together by rotating the thigh bones in the hips and then lowering down. Now, odds are this is not as much rotation as you got in there, but we're just warming up, so no worries. We'll dig a little deeper in a moment. Lift up with heels together, rotate into parallel and lower. Let's do this 4 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, rotate and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, rotate back to parallel and lower. 3 more. The knees are stretched. I know sometimes it's hard to tell because I've got a little bit of a bow in my legs, but I'm keeping my knees straight and the quad muscles supporting those knee joints. And 1 more to parallel. Now, it could be that that was the appropriate lateral rotation for you. If it is, keep the spacing of the legs. And if it wasn't, you can step apart just a little bit. We're not going to rise fully up, but we are going to shift our weight forward into the toes and using the muscles that wrap under the bottom of the hips around the top of the hamstrings. We're going to roll our femurs, the inside of the femurs toward the front, bringing the heels together, and then lower the heels into ground. So you've got your first position, turn out. All right, bend your knees once. Allow the hips to drop toward ground and keep the spine vertical and take a peek down. And I often mention this, we want to hold our alignment. A good way to tell is making sure that your toes, your big toes aren't covered up by your knees. So rotating open enough through the hips, you can see that little slice of big toe. And then return your gaze forward and exhale, stretch the legs. Inhale, bend the knees, going as far down as you can, tracking the knees as you should and keeping the spine vertical. And then exhale. Breathe in. And again, if you don't need to hold on to anything, I'm going to suggest a little roundedness through the arms. Inhale. And exhale, feel the inner thighs continuing the support from ground upward. Do 2 more. Whistling. Bend your knees and stay. And then pause here. You might have a hand here, you might have a hand on your belly, one on your thighs. Take a peek down, check visually that you're aligned. And we're going to pulse downward on the exhale. Feel this nice open circle of the legs. And if your hands are in this position, you can feel that nice open circle of the shoulder girdle into the fingertips, just like the hips into the ground through the feet. Do 2 more. 1 more. Hold at the bottom, inhale, and then exhale. Pull the backs of the legs up and in. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, lower your heels. So it's a repetition of what we did in parallel. Feel like you've got that open extension through the hip. That nice balance tone through the low abs and through the glutes. You are still tracking the legs from the top of the femurs through the inside of the shins, through the inside of the ankles, the medial arches, and the big toes. And with core connection, we got two more, guys. The breath is helping to support the spine against wavering and wobbling. Now inhale, bend into the knees. Exhale, lift the heels. Inhale, push off the toes, breath going down, legs stretching up. And exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your Kegel and inhale. Use it to pull the breath down. Exhale, ground through your heels. 3 more of these, please. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. And out. Last one. Bring your toes, if they're wider than the spacing of the hips, a little bit more into that line. And then lift, shifting your weight forward. And keep your awareness and your work in the back of the hips as you now add a little bit of medial rotators to balance the legs in parallel. Stand on one foot or the other. It doesn't matter to me which one you begin with. And lift the other foot from the ground, or simply put the toes down and put all of your weight into that single leg. On your next exhale, we're bending the standing leg. And on your inhale, stretching it.
Is your heel on the floor?
Heels on the floor, that is correct. I was gonna try and get to a spot where you can see my leg a little better. Heel is on the floor. And you're exhaling to bend the knee, tracking it toward the center of the foot. And inhale to stretch. I'm going to try and put a light background up next time when I use this view. We're headed to
background on. Never mind. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, you tell me later. And when you've done your last one, put the foot down, lift up the one you were standing on, and just do a figure 4 stretch. As you do figure 4, you're allowing the hips to go a little bit behind you, and you're trying to continue to track that leg, the figure 4 leg, well, both of them, honestly. Allow yourself to hinge forward as much as you like to get the appropriate stretch. And then go ahead and come up. And we do the other side. Yeah, so you might change which hand is supporting you. Looking for something in terms of background. We'll do this. All right, you're standing on the new leg. And feeling the feet into the ground, exhale and start to bend the standing leg. Let your weight drop down. Keep your Kegel, and as you inhale and push off the floor, move the breath down. Exhale. And inhale. And we're headed for 8. Probably in the last half here. And when you've done your last one on the new side, then we'll stretch the leg you were standing on into a figure 4. Come on up and shake out the legs. Alrighty. So standing on one leg, go ahead and have your weights nearby. And we're going to stand sideways to our support and return to that lunge. Yeah. So we've been using lunge for various things here, both for stretch and for strength work. So for instance, if you have your right foot back, your left forward, you're going to lunge deeply into the front leg, tracking the knee. And we're going to lean the body forward on the angle of the back leg. Just once, release the back heel up a smidge, and then square the hips and the shoulders. Kegel, exhale, press the center of the heel down. Feel the inner thigh aligning with the spine. We're going to just do little pulls back with the elbow. Keeping the arm parallel to the side. Keeping the shoulder and the head in line. We're going to go for 8. Remember to pull from the back of the arm and the back of the shoulder rather than the back of the neck. And when you've done your last one, go ahead and bring that back foot up and lift the knee. We're going to go ahead and reach this knee back or this foot back and stretch the arm forward. Arm swings down, knee comes up, and then exhale, reach. Try for 8 of these as well. So it's a step back into lunge, which requires a forward tilt through the body over the standing leg. It's like doing our pliés in a one-legged position rather than with both feet on the ground. Do the last couple. Again, we're heading for 8. And when you've done your last one, step forward. And the foot you were standing on, just do little circles around the tops of the toes. So back to what I was getting at with the explanation I was heading into. With that, essentially, one-legged plie work, right, it requires a 3D connection through the core inside and work to support that with your obliques outside. So just like we did our twist with our obliques, we're supporting against twist with the same sets of muscles. Yeah, so just a different way of getting to the same position. So I think we're all ready to go to the other side now. The weight is in the new hand, or almost. We've got our lunge. We've got the body lined up. Pay attention to the shoulder and the head. And then just once, release the back heel upward a little bit. Inhale, find the big toe. And then exhale through the inner thigh, through the hip, the low abs, the core. Lower the heel and connect into ground. We start by just pulling our elbow back. We're leaned forward. And on the exhale, elbow skims the side and we pull it back. Inhale, release, exhale. Yeah. And we go for 8 of these. When you've done your last one, go ahead and step forward and bring that outside knee up. It should be the same side that you have your weight in your hand. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. Okay, so from here, take a breath. And then as you exhale and reach the leg back, send the arm forward. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Go for 8 here. Good, you guys. Keep breathing and keep that feeling of connection of the torso into the leg. That's it. And when you've done your last one, put your weight down and do little circles over the foot that you were just standing on. Okay. Without the weight, with our lateral rotation, right? So we'll find your stance. We'll find the muscles under the hips and the thighs. So I'm just a little forward, but you can still have a hand on your chair or dresser or whatever you're using. Step the legs apart, right? We're going to do some plies here, stretching through the inner thighs and opening the hips laterally. And you can again have arms in that rounded position, unless you need them for support. On the exhale breath, go ahead and lower the hips, dropping your weight through the legs and feet into ground, feeling the knees track toward the toes. And then inhale, push off. We're using the exhale as we lower the hips for a couple of reasons. All right, we want to have conscious support in the core as we track the knees, as we open the base of the hips and put some elasticity into that part of the hips and also the pelvic floor area. Please do one more. Good. Now, if you're not at a place where you're holding onto a countertop, go ahead and do that. We're going to bend into the knees, and then we're going to shift over onto one leg. We're going to keep our lateral rotation, and we're going to drop the ball of the foot and then point through the toes. So let's see if I can get to a place where you can see that. You did it. So we're dropping the ball of the foot, keeping the arch of the leg and the stretch of the knee, and then pointing through the toes. Inhale, ball of the foot down. Exhale on the tips of the toes. Do that 6 more times. We're really strongly activating the lower leg and the muscles that go down into the foot from there, as well as the intrinsic muscles of the foot to kind of complete that chain to ground. When you pointed your toes the final time, we're going to remain very conscious of our long axis, and we're going to circle the leg forward. Inhale and exhale just to that point where you started from. Inhale, toes in front of you, and exhale. Now, as you do this, ideally, you're not losing the integrity of that hip. You are maintaining the turnout through the leg you're standing on. We're not having a lot of twist in the body against the rotation of the leg. 2 more times. Leave the leg open, place the heel down, bend into the knees, and you can stretch and stand on the other leg if you happen to have something else nearby, or you can shift to where you need to shift. Again, with the foot, we're going to inhale, lower the ball of the foot to ground, and then exhale, push onto the tips of the toes. Inhale, lower, and exhale onto the full point. Now, none of this is changing the angle of that outer hip, right? The pelvis, really. The sides of the waist are long, and any adaptation that needs to occur occurs in the angle of the femur, as well as in the joints of the ankle and the toes. Get to your 8th one, you're probably there. And then steady and into the alignment of the standing leg, we're going to inhale and bring that side leg forward till it's just in front of us. And exhale, take it out to where you came from. Inhale, skimming the floor. And exhale. Keep that going, please. 3 more. Get tall behind yourself. One more. Roll down onto the foot. Plie. And then close. So I suggest facing whatever you've been using as a support. We're going to again start in that wide position. If you like, you can bend both knees equally and then come up onto one leg. Because I started with the leg I did, I'm going to return to that leg as we do the next round of things. Right? I'm just going to once lower the ball of the foot to ground and then come onto the toes. And then on the inhale, I'm going to sweep it around and take it right behind me. On the exhale, bring the heel forward to that slightly in front of center line position. Inhale. And exhale. Try not to dump or hunch the chest or shoulders forward. So you are using a little bit of your back extensors. You're using the rotators under the hip. We're doing 4 more. This time, instead of ending with the leg to the side, we end with the leg forward or in back of us. We're standing on our forward leg and we're going to bend it slightly. You might peek down and check that it's traveling in the correct direction. Stretch a little bit more through the back. Stretch a little bit more into the lift of the front. And we pulse down, sliding the back toes. Exhale, inhale up a little bit. Exhale, slide. We're not ever straightening this front leg. We're just doing our pulses downward. 2 more. Stay down at the bottom. Stretch more into the foot and the knee. And from the back of the hip, exhale, pick up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more, 7, 8, lower the toes, stretch the leg, bring the foot back in, come to parallel, yeah, right? Widen your hips, send your butt back. Oh, and shift a little, one side and then the other. So we still have the work to the back to do to the second side, but then we'll be on the ground. So we're almost done with the hard stuff. Watching my time here. Oh yeah, it's about that time. So I'm going to stand facing the other direction. If you like, you can start in second plie and then spring to the new leg, or if you need to because of space, just place yourself there. That's fine. Get where you can see my foot. And just once, lower the ball of the foot, breathe in, and then exhale, come to the point of the toes. Inhale, bring the leg around in a big arc to the space behind you. And then exhale, rotate, bringing it just forward of center or to where it started from. 8 times. Inhale, breath moving down, and exhale, keep support for the position of the pelvis. Halfway through. Four more times, we take the leg to the back. Find your rotators, free up the hips, stretch your knee, take the leg back. And then bend into your standing leg, have a peek at it. Check the alignment, square the hips and the shoulders, stretch the back leg, And we slide it in back of us, lowering the hips. Pulsing down 2. Pulsing down 3. And 4. 5. 6. Hold your obliques as well as your core. Avoid rotation in the torso. When you've gone or lowered that 8th time, pause. Keep that knee bent. Stretch more through the back leg and keeping everything squared off. Exhale, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Head resting easily on the neck and shoulders. 7, 8. Oh, bring the leg in. Stretch. Send your hips back.
Holy balls of fire.
There we go. Holy buns of fire, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then roll up. And you guys, go ahead if you need to throw a mat down on the floor. We're going to lie on the ground and breathe for a moment. That darn time. Yeah. I might have to shift my camera a little bit, so you have to shift your own self. So we're gonna go ahead and lie on your back once you're down. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, that's a good sound. Here we go. All right. Ah, yes. All right. So we're gonna lie on our backs. Oh. And just breathe for a moment. So hands on the belly. Relax the belly, relax the hips and the legs. If the legs want to fall out or do something that they shouldn't, you can widen your feet and let the knees kind of prop against each other. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Just stay real gentle with it. Inhale when it's time for that. And exhale, allowing the belly wall to relax in. And continue that breathing, that soft inhale and exhale, the rise and fall of the chest and the belly wall. 2 more times. There we go. And then go ahead and pull one knee at a time into the chest, hugging your knees in. And get a nice hug around the legs. Open the chest and unshrug the shoulders, of course. And as you hug the knees in, rock a little side to side or forward and back. Mm-hmm. And then you can pause and just kind of circle the legs independently, guide with your arms, right? Let it be minimal effort through the hips. Good, you guys. Return to center. And then put one foot on the ground. When that one foot is on the ground, allow the pelvis to return to neutral. And place the other leg in tabletop. Right. I'm going to do a little one leg circle or hip release through this single leg that's lifted. If you need to adjust your bottom foot down the mat or need to straighten that bottom leg, that's fine. So we'll have one leg up. Exhale here in preparation, opening shoulders and chest. And on the inhale, take this lifted leg across the midline. And exhale, circle it down, out to the side, and back up to where you began from. Inhale, leg crossing the midline, and exhale in that big circle. And of course, you can make it as large or as small as you need to.
I gotta get the door.
Okay, one more. and then pause. Going in the opposite direction. Now on the inhale, the leg opens away from the midline, and on the exhale, it moves down, crossing the midline, up until you return to where you started from. Inhale out to the side. Do 5 circles in this new direction.
Are we on the first leg or the second?
We're on the first leg, but we're on the second direction. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Yeah. When you've done your last one, hug that knee in. So hugging this knee in, you can either leave it here, you can give it a little shake, and of course you're lying down and sitting up so I can see you. Or you can open the leg out to the side, right? Getting a nice stretch for inner thigh and hip, which might feel pretty good at this point. Then finally, we're going to take the leg across the body, bent knee coming across, hip rolling up, shoulder and arm opening back. Again, you're lying down, and we're in our twist, our supported reclined twist.
This way?
So the top leg is going across the body, right? And you're opening out, your head and shoulders are resting back. Breathe here. Open and close your jaws. Sigh. And then with the help of your hands, return safely. So you'll guide the knee back, put the foot down. Then the bottom leg. Check your posture. I'm going to make sure it's neutral. We'll do the same circling and then stretching sequence on the other side. And exhale, pick the new leg up. Decide if you need to adjust the bottom leg or get it out of the way. And then we're going to start in the inward direction. Inhale, move the leg across the midline. Exhale.
Bottom leg straight or bent?
It can be straight. You want to get it out of the way.
And are we sitting up like you are?
No, you're lying down. Good question. When you've done 5 repetitions in the inward direction, then you can go in the other direction as well. And when you're ready, begin that. So from your centered position, you'll inhale, open the leg out to the side, and you'll circle down, up the midline, and return to where you started from. 5 total in the second direction as well. Good, you guys. When you've done all the circling with the second leg in both the directions, hug the knee in. Right. Again, you can either continue hugging the knee in, give it a little shake, move it around, or you can open it out to the side. Get a stretch through inner hip and thigh. Once you've gotten the stretch and the release you need into that hip, then you keep that same knee bent and take it across the body, twisting through the waist. And you are lying down, just to be clear, you are lying on your backs. Yeah. Help support the weight of the leg with the opposite hand. Move your jaws around, move your head around, move your shoulders around. You want to make sure that you're not stuck in any of those areas, and absolutely keep the breath moving. Sigh, return to center. Put the foot on the ground and slide your legs long. So not a lot of work on the ground today, just a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of a stretch out. Continue here in this stretched out position and have a couple rounds of breath, inhaling deeply. Relaxing the hips, the belly, the neck, the chest, the shoulders. Exhale. And feel that soft belly wall falling inward. You might close your eyes Inhale, relax the area behind the eyes, underneath the forehead, and through the roots of the jaw. And then exhale, releasing breath, feel a softening building in the inside of the chest. Have a couple more breaths just like that, and you take your time. When you feel like you're done, sigh out that last exhale. And we're done with class. Good job this morning. You can hang out here and stretch and breathe if you like. I'm going to turn off the recording. Thanks for dropping in. And yeah, have a fantastic Tuesday.